Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. In the last part we got here to the Cave of Flames, and in this part we're actually going to be doing this entire dungeon. Now first off here we have Bomb enemies, straight out of Mario Brothers actually. Technically speaking they only take one sword slash to beat, but then they run around, you can hit them again, throw them as a bomb. Your sword will make a dent in their thorny armor. Flip them over before you strike. Yeah, these guys are something people who have played the Game Boy and Game Boy Color Zelda games especially are used to at this point, really. And in this chest we got the compass. Yeah, same purpose as all the ways. Now these may look like simple rupees, but that one in the bottom middle is actually a rupee like. Unlike the normal likes in the series, they just drain rupees from your wallet, and they can get annoying, but usually they will either drop the money they took from you, or the rupee that's on their head. So they're no big deal overall, really. Though the 20 rupee ones are annoying, because they actually take the increment of money that is actually on their head, so that guy will only take one at a time, whereas other ones will take 20. This must be what the humans who built this mine used to get around in here. Maybe we should hop in. What? After all this, you don't expect me to believe you're scared. There's nothing to be afraid of in here. Come on, let's go. Alrighty, I'll trust you on this. I shouldn't have trusted you on this! Oh wow, that ended abruptly. Sweet jumping jellyfish, that was awful. Hey kid, what are you smiling about? I knew it was madness to risk our lives in that rickety human contraption. From now on, let's just stick to our feet. Well, I mean, your feet. The weird thing is you actually can't carry things through doors, which mind you makes sense to an extent, but is also kind of annoying. That guy detonated immediately, that's kind of sucky. Anyway, past this obviously bombable wall, we have more Helmosaurs. Not that big of a deal, honestly. Although I do like the way they look in the Minish Cap and Oracle games. They look a lot different than A Link to the Past, that's for sure. How interesting. So there was a portal hidden away in here, Whatever you want me to shrink you down, just hop up here and press R. Same as usual, really, and sad to say, unlike the past two, which had some cool little animation that shows the inside, we never get to see the inside of one of these. Which I wish we did. And if you head north, there's actually a dead end, because there's a hole there, which you would fall down as Minish, but... So, that basically means you have to head to the right. And... Oh, really? You can't pick up that piece of heart when you're tiny, by the way. It'd be awesome if you could, but you can't. That was a burp. And it's here that I've actually... This is actually the first time I've ever tried this, but I didn't know you could actually extinguish the fire with the, Gust Jar. Mind you, blowing out the fire with the Gust Jar makes sense, but I'm surprised it took me until now to try it. Anyway, we got the dungeon map, so that's where that is. Let's, see what this place looks like, actually. Oh, wow, that's kind of big. Well, actually, not really. B3 and B1 are already fully explored. B2 and, B1 are the big floors of this area. Ooh, Kinstone piece. Oh my, it looks really, really hot in that lava. Trust me, falling into that would be a bad idea. I'm sure you agree. Yeah. And don't be a fool and try to pick those up, just use your Gust Jar, because this one actually falls really quickly, because these platforms will sink after a while if it's not readily obvious. And although they all have different timings on how they fall, although knowing how the game works, it's probably all just different sets of programming for different timers. Anyway, these, I don't know what these guys are called, but you can slash them and then put them into holes, and ooh, 50 rupees. They're no obstacle at all, really. In fact, they help you more often than not. And we got more of these little things as well. Also, one thing I just now noticed, actually, in commentary, You can actually tell what direction you're going in with Ezlo on that hat thing by the way Ezlo's head is facing. I actually never noticed that. In fact, I don't even think I ever noticed that his head was actually on that sprite. Wow, I'm... like, what, almost 10 years late on noticing that? Anyway, in here we got a small key. And guess where the small key is? All the way back through this terrifying thing. Well, not really terrifying, but you get the drift. Just walk on top of this rail. That took me a bit to figure out. And here we go again! Ah, ooh, triple kill. Booyah. Well, that's an upside down freaking thing. That's not helpful at all. Minecart, that's the word. Anyway, we want to blow this up here for reasons that I shall explain momentarily. Though if you pay attention to the map, it's obviously because this is where the 8th piece of heart is. With this, we've completed another heart container. Booyah! That puts us at 6 out of 20. Booyah! And now it's time for what is technically the mini-boss of this dungeon, although we've already fought the enemy before. We have what looks to be 8 or 9. I'm not actually sure what these guys are called. They're choo-choos, obviously, but I'm not sure if they're called spiky, metal. I'm not sure what they're called. Something to look up later, I suppose. And by later, I mean after the Let's Play is finished. You know, I gotta wonder how nostalgic it was for people who heard the mini-boss theme in this game who played Zelda 2 over in Japan. Anyway, here we get the Cane of Pacci, I don't know which one it is. This mystical rod has the power to flip things over. Use it to charge up energy in holes and then flip on up out of it. That's a very useful item, as much as its description might not sound like. You can use it in all sorts of stuff. Pots, bushes... giant rocks with stalactites on them. And as Ezlo mentioned here, hey kid, why don't you take that Cane of Pacci and fire it at the hole? I mean, you never know what'll happen, right, until you try, right? Yes, he'll just slowly spin you and then you'll be spat out. And there's the halfway portal. And now let's flip this crate over, shall we? Crate? Minecart. Ah, I can't speak apparently. And in this chest we got a small key. That's always useful. Especially in Zelda 1 when you can find more keys than you actually need in a dungeon. Be it through the master key or otherwise. How loud is my TV? I can't tell. Well, I don't see the audio levels rising on my microphone, so I'm assuming that you can't see it at all. Or hear it at all. Oh, that happens a lot, by the way. If you try to roll too early when you're close to a Minish portal, you'll immediately grow back to size, which is kind of annoying. Oh, great! These enemies. Players of the Game Boy Color games will probably recognize these especially. Because they were kind of prominent in the first dungeon, towards the end of it at least, of Oracle of Age Seasons. I'm not just sure about Ages. I can't remember Ages' first dungeon that well, actually. I know it's shaped like a pumpkin. Then again, Ages just has real variety in its temple themes. And we have to flip this crate. Crate. Why do I keep saying crate? I'm trying to say cart. And then we go right back into it. And fun fact, that's also the first time I've ever used a Cane of Pacci against these guys. I didn't even know that could work. Also, I'm just now realizing Cane of Pacci sounds like a freaking candy from Japan. Or is it China? I forget where Pacci's from. All I know is that's delicious cookie with chocolate covering it. Also, I should mention, as far as I can remember, pulling things actually takes longer than pushing things, so try to push more often than pull. I'm not sure why that works, because theoretically it should be harder both ways, but I don't really care. And down here we got a kinstone piece. And up here... We got another Kinstone piece, the first green one we'd found in the chest. So, yay. And this room. As you just saw there, you have to flip that one over to progress, so make sure you do that. In fact, you're gonna have to flip over a lot of platforms in this area. Also, I finally figured out what I was talking about earlier with the Kinstone fusions. Green ones are completely random as to what they'll do. Obviously, what they do is set, but which one you'll get is random. Obviously, it'll be in an area you've been in, as far as I can remember, though. Blue and red, though, are the same ones every time. Red is pretty much always a piece of heart, and blue is something else. So if you're going for Kinstone fusions, make sure you always do the blue and red ones. Green ones don't really matter in the long run. I hate it when that happens. I was so close, but nope, had to get my ass burnt twice! I just flipped that thing out of rage. If only I could use it against a table. Table flipping. That's... Ow, really? Eh. It's really sad, too, because I actually did a test playthrough for this dungeon just to make sure I remembered it, and I got through this flawlessly. Well, you can't be perfect every time. Unless I'm playing Zero Mission, in which case I try to be perfect every time. Except for in terms of completion. Ha! Anyway, we got something we can get in these rooms past all these green traps. And it is a green Kinstone piece. Seeing a theme here? A lot of the extra chests that aren't keys are Kinstones. And if you're going for everything, that can be useful, but if you're not, it's kinda pointless. Also, I'm just realizing this now, what is creating these whirlwinds? I mean, I can understand it in the lava areas, because that can be two different currents of air and temperatures of air conflicting with each other, but, like these ones in specific, what is creating them? Mind you, hot air in general should propel us upwards, even without these, tornadoes, but still, that's a logic flaw there. Who am I kidding? It's Nintendo. They probably don't care. As long as they make fun games, we don't care. Unless it's Partners in Time. Oh, hello. That was 100 rupees. That's excellent. I'm still trying to remember what division the red giant rupees are that we saw in the first part were. I think those are 200? I don't remember. It's been too long since I last played this. Probably 3 years, actually. And in here we actually have the final normal chest of the dungeon, which I missed, and another Kinstone. Perfect! Absolutely perfect. And up here, we got the big key. So now we can get into the boss door, which is right there. And that's the second portal. And before you fall down that hole right there, make sure to raid these pots, because not only do they often have recovery hearts, a couple of them also have fairies in them. Capture one fairy in a bottle if you need it. I don't, I'm just showing it off for the first time. Pretty much, they act as an auto life. If you die, they'll recover a certain amount of hearts. Usually 8, I believe. Anyway, got your Cane of Pacci and fall on down. That's a reused sound effect from the Game Boy Color games. Meet Gleerok! Actually, one of my favorite bosses in the game. Strategy is to use your Cane of Pacci on his little shell, then go over to him and pretty much slash that jewel. After a while, he'll start falling into the lava, in which case you have to get off him immediately. Technically speaking, he's actually the first boss to have 2 actual phases. But that's... I'll save that for a moment from now, because, the second phase actually begins with that one slash. As you'll notice, very slightly, the sprite for the lava changes, gets a lot rounder, and then it starts overflowing. Any fire that Gleerok sends out, by the way, does like the floor on fire, but if the lava covers it, it'll disappear. And the rocks falling from the sky can also take out the fires, so yeah. And in Phase 2, he'll get out of the lava and send a crap load of fire out at you. Pretty much the entire top of this room is nuked. The only thing really annoying about this guy actually is his rate of turning, because he can get rather fast. Though I'll always love that sound effect for damaging something. That's like one of my favorite damaging a boss sound effects of all time. And really, yeah, that's it for the second phase. It's not that much different from the first. It can be some troublesome because that lava does hurt. I mean, it's lava, it should, but it's not that hard, really. In fact, that's what you can say about this entire second dungeon in total. It's actually... I think I actually took less damage in this than I did the first one. I'm not too sure, though. But after nut slashes, Gleerok will, like the choo-choo, explode for some reason. Must have some really high blood pressure. We got the fire element. Flames bring light to darkness and warmth to all. The fire element is the embodiment of that power. Okay, and up here we got our 7th heart containers. 7 out of 20. We're getting on there. And just because there's 4 elements does not mean we are halfway through the game, folks. There's a lot more to do. Oh, that was hot. It was so hot I thought my fibers would catch fire. Ah, but it's over now. I suppose we should go back and speak to Malari. But I think I'm going to save that for next time. Thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And next time on Let's Play Legend of Zelda the Minish Cap, we're going to be going to talk to Malaria and how he's doing on the Picori Blade. See you guys then.